say the currency is king. They don't know a goddamn thing about who we are. What it means is what it's worth.
What's up, Bills Mafia? Scott coming at you from 24/7 Buff Pandemonium with this Tuesday's K-Gun Report. We can't wait to get into it. We're a day past our big victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. We were also going to talk about the Ravens coming up. We're getting the Bills Mafia involved in conversation, score predictions, keys to success, all that good stuff. We got a special guest joining us, part of the member of the Buff fan base as well, just like the 24/7 Buff Pandemonium K-Gun Report. We'll get to that and more. Leave your comments in there, guys. Grab your SpaghettiOs, and we'll see you in a couple seconds. What's up, Bills Mafia? Hey, let's start off with that right away, guys. How are you doing?
Whew, what a game last night.
Tell me it wasn't bad to start off 34 to whatever the score was at halftime. And I mean, this is the first time in a while we've been able to just sit back and enjoy our sip beverage, whatever we're drinking on for that second half. But guys, look at the panel. We got a fantastic panel. You know, Swank is missing. He's got his music night at Crafty's Ales and Lagers. So if you grab your phone, you want to go listen to some music and the K-Gun Report, hit him up there in Phelps, New York. It's a pretty sweet thing. But I'm going to start right up here to my, where are you, on the left or right there, RT? Ryan Thomas from the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. What's up, brother? Big victory. Tell us what you're all about, my friend.
Well, you asked me how I was doing, and then my response was, what a game last night, because when the Bills win, and they win like the way they did last night, sets up my mood for the entire rest of the week. And I'm all smiles, really excited to dive into last night and to dive into next week as well, as you alluded to, Scott. It's going to be a good show.
Hell yeah. And Jerry Reed to the bottom of me. His face seems to be frozen. Jared, based on your response, how quick you answer me right here, I might have to give you the thumbs down to reboot. What's up, brother?
What's
Co-host of the K-Gun Report, Jared.
What's up? Can you hear me? Am I good? Am I going?
I can hear him good.
You can hear him all right? Yep. I've had that issue where I can't hear or see Jared moving, but RT, if you notice anything, holler at me.
Sure.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing?
Time I hosted with
I'm doing good, Jerry. How about you?
I'm doing well. We won't talk to Scott tonight. I don't care. I talk to him a lot. He's my brother, so I'll focus on you. Ryan, you're exactly right. What a game. This time we don't have to wait 10, 11 days to the next one. We have Sunday night coming up in 5 more days, I think. So can't wait to talk to the Mafia about this one and the next one. Let's go. 3-0, baby.
All right. And before we get really started, I want to bring everybody's attention. We are part of the Buff Fan Base Network, the K-Gun Report, and Sunday Sessions, Buff Fan Base's pregame show, as well as Ryan Thomas's The Thomas Take Sports Podcast. So they're on all social media platforms. Hit them up, watch our shows, get involved. It's a great group to be a part of. And I can't miss saying that we're a part of, we're sponsored by 26 Shirts as well. Swank always tells you, he says the best, give them your money. They know how to spend it better than you do. But if you haven't yet, check out their sweet shirts online. Donations go to Western New York families. It's a win-win-win-win-win, and Swank will keep going on win-win-win. Hey, guys, can I get a win-win from each one of you guys?
Win-win-win.
There you go. And at the K-Gun Report, we like to hit up the comments first. So we're going to go ahead and see who's saying hello. Usually it's a pretty good family involved. I do want to throw this out there real quick. I got my SpaghettiOs.
There you go.
Very nice.
I got them. And the Chef Boyardee is taking over the stores. It was hard finding these little buggers. I tell you what. Well,
Man,
we got Corey Blaine.
At least you found them, though, right? That's all that matters.
Right. Corey Blaine, ready for a great show. What's up, Corey? Those of you guys who follow the page, Corey left a nice little video of him chugging some meatballs. SpaghettiO meatballs.
I just accepted Corey's friend request. So,
there you go.
Yeah, we're friends, Facebook friends. It's official.
It's official.
Awesome.
It's really official now that you broadcasted it on the live stream.
Yeah.
What an amazing game, Lisa. For sure, that was an amazing game to watch. It took these mini buys. I tell you, it was a long time. We don't have, like Jarrod said, we don't have to wait as long as we did before. Joey Hatch, 12th Man Mafia. What's up, Joey? Patrick Hughes, what's up, Mafia? Are we ready for victory Tuesday, K-Gun style? Get the crack in your beers and SpaghettiOs. Woo! Cheers, fellas. Are you guys drinking tonight?
You know, why not? At some point, I'll have a Labatt Blue close by. There's always one nearby. You know.
Oh,
Room
wait,
temperature?
here's what
Doesn't matter. It's all good.
Room temperature or not, either way, it's the preferred choice, no matter what.
There you go. Anna Barasco, happy K-Gun Tuesday, happy Victory Tuesday. What a solid game. Let's go. It's fun having Sunday sessions and the K-Gun report back to back. Joey Hatch, Buffalo 24/7. What's good? What's good, Joey? Lisa says hello, Scott. Hi, Lisa.
What's up, Lisa?
Yeah, Corey Blaine said the SpaghettiOs worked again. There's a thing going on, guys. 24/7 Buff Pandemonium. We're chugging some SpaghettiOs out of the can. Buffalo Spartan did it as well, and it seems to be bringing us pretty good luck there. Mr. Reed, good day, brother. Buffalo Spartan, Mafia, mount up. Yes, yeah.
Mount up.
Lonnie says, good evening. Good evening, Lonnie. Her son, Josh was at the game. Sent us some nice pictures. That's what football does. John's Bills are 3-0. Let's go, Buffalo. Guys, honestly, when we did our schedule predictions, I'll start with you, RT. Did you think we'd be 3-0? I mean, how did you picture this first quarter of the season? Well, it's not necessarily a quarter anymore because there's 17 games. How did you both of you guys think? We'll start with you, RT, about this first quarter of the season.
Sure. I thought they'd be 4-0, which is kind of a prelude to what we'll talk about. But I thought that they'd be 4-0. Listen, I mean, Arizona's much better than what they were a year ago. They got more skill. Miami's always, they're a divisional opponent, but we've been beating them down for this almost entire Josh Allen era. And then Jacksonville was due to come to Buffalo and due to get whooped by Buffalo in Orchard Park, New York, I should say. Not Buffalo, Orchard Park. Shout out to OP. And that's what's happened so far, so there's been two essential beatdowns. You could say three, because from the second half on against Arizona, they beat them down in a comeback effort. Then the game against Miami was a complete beatdown. Last night was, I think that was the most complete performance I've seen from a Bills team, from a Bills game in maybe a week. So it just goes to show you where this team is at right now. They are hot, and they're here.
Oh, for sure. And I think the analysis people and everybody, all the professionals, saying that's the most complete first half that they've ever seen out of Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Jarrod, where'd you see us 3 to 4 games into the season, man?
Well, you guys know where I was for the whole season, 17-0, and we're on our way there. We're at 3-0. Before the season,
can you hear him, RT?
Yeah, I can hear him. He's all good on my end.
Okay.
Yep.
So again, Ryan, I'll talk to you, Scott. Go away. That's good. But no, to be honest with you, I was expecting 17-0. Obviously, there's hard games throughout each. You got to play one game at a time. But looking at this, like Ryan said, these first 3 games are going to be tough. Arizona's improved. Miami, I was honestly thinking we'll split this year 1-1. We got one already. They were supposed to be a high-powered offense that no one was supposed to be able to stop, but we did it again. And then this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, they were supposed to be second or another year in with Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback, Etienne as their running back with a stud receiver. The defense was piled up with Allen and Walker and all those guys, so it was supposed to be a legit force. And we've knocked 3 of them out already. And Ryan said again, 3 games, 10 quarters we've been dominant. So it's amazing to see what Josh Allen does when he's free from number 14, when he's free from having to give somebody enough targets to make them happy. It's a whole new Josh Allen. He doesn't feel like he needs to be pressured to do any specific thing each play. He can just dump it off like we saw him do, the swing passes, dump off to running backs. and not feel pressured to give somebody the ball. And MVP year, man, he's going to keep going. As long as that line, which they did a great job this past game, keeps it up, this is going to be a fun offense to watch all year long.
100%.
Well, for 100% for sure. And we were lucky enough to see some of those backup linemen come in the fourth quarter. Alec Anderson was out there. Van Pran Granger was out there. Anytime you can give these guys reps when they're not forced to have reps, they can, especially when they're up, they can learn the system. They can run these basic plays and not have to worry about winning a football game, just keeping things in motion. And those are beautiful reps that they can get. That's going to help them on later in their career for sure. For sure. Let's see, Alberto. What's up, Alberto? Hello, everybody. Dominant win. It sure was. Mary Jane Brown Hughes says, good evening. Wow, best Bills game ever. Keep eating those SpaghettiOs. Let's see, 26 shirts. Patrick says 26 shirts has a cool 716 show shirt. They have a bunch of cool shirts.
Yeah, they got a lot of cool ideas. Mike
vote. It's 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? How about John Fina's little? I mean, when these players get recognized, it's a beautiful thing. But it seems like they're getting used to how the microphones work in the stadium. When you first saw it starting to happen, they were speaking fast and you couldn't catch up to the voice. And John Fina was nice, loud. He said it nice and slow, so it wasn't echoing, and everyone was on key. That stadium was loud when they were saying all those things. What do you guys think about that?
Goosebumps.
I thought the atmosphere was perfect. I loved how ESPN portrayed that atmosphere with Von Miller talking to the sideline reporter just as he's about to put his helmet on to run out of the tunnel. I thought that was a really cool moment. I thought Von Miller owned the moment. And I really loved to see John Fina, get his due, get his shine as a great Buffalo Bill that he was.
Yeah, Jared, you said you get goosebumps when you see them doing this. Is that pretty sweet to see them do that when they get recognized?
Yeah, every time anybody does it, it's awesome. And John Fina nailed it. Like you said, Scott, he did a great job with said it so everyone can enunciate everything, so everything could be heard. And the mics were on that day because it sitting and watching it from the TV, it was loud. It was loud.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, you were all good on my end, Jared. Scooter, I think that it got me thinking, at least in that moment, that I got to go to at least one or two more games in that stadium before it's all gone. And then you see in the background, the aerial view, the background of the new stadium. My mom happened to be at the game, and I texted her and I said, we got to get tickets to the first game at that new stadium. That's a goal. That's a part of history. It's a big deal, but I'm thinking that. And then I saw the moment with Von Miller and I thought, I gotta get to the Ralph. It'll always be the Ralph to me. I got to get there at least one more time for a Buffalo Bills game. And where else would you rather be?
Well, I'll tell you what, RT, start saving now. Because,
sure.
I know they're dropping 10 or 12,000 seats. I think they're dropping. So, and that they're going to be increased a little bit.
They're going to be crazy. At the very least, if it gets too out of hand, which it probably will, I at least got to be at a tailgate. That has to be. I just got to be around it. That's the way I look at it.
There's plenty. Maybe the crew at the Buff fan base is putting something together for all the members to send them to that first game. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
It's a good idea. It's a thought. It's a good idea.
Scott, can you hear me yet? No, I'm going to drop out. Ryan, I'm going to drop out really quick and come back in.
So when Jared's
Sure.
Yes, please. Corey or Paula says, hi, Corey. Love the video of SpaghettiOs. Yeah, that was hilarious. And he's got his daughter involved.
What's up, Paulette?
Ellen Lark says, hey, Ryan. Tell Tasha I said hello. Had a great time with you guys at the Rager.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, Ellen says hello.
You don't know what Ellen's talking about. Every year we do a regular season Rager at Reinvention. Mark the calendars. We always do it Labor Day weekend. That Saturday at Reinvention Brewing. Raise money for Mark Maddox's Help One Foundation. It's fun. We meet a lot of you guys, and we raise a lot of money. I think we raised close to $2,600 this year, so that's pretty
That's
sweet.
great. That's great.
Adam Barasco, yeah. Every time we played the Jags in London or Jacksonville, that was a statement to the Bills. At least Jacksonville is not good. Yep, we finally got them. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm catching up on the comments. You guys are killing it as always. Lots of crow pie being served up for the doubters. Damar Hamlin. Let's go there too. Let's go there. I mean, some thought him being on the team last year and even making this year's team, it was because it was a sap story. Let him be on the team. He's been through a lot, blah, blah, blah. Poyer and Hyde are gone. He's not going to make it. They bring in a rookie. They bring in some veteran leadership, RT. He's a starter.
Mm-hmm.
He's helped shut down that Waddle and Hill offense, and they did what they did against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he got his first pick yesterday.
Yeah.
What did seeing Damar Hamlin, how did that make you feel when you saw all that coming down and how he's doing these first 3 games?
Honestly, I got really emotional and I'm gonna get emotional again because God damn. I honestly the moment he picked that ball off, you're watching the game, you're in that moment, and you're like, wow, what a great play. But then, and that's Damar. He's made many great plays. He made many great plays prior to what happened on that night against Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. And he got the opportunity again because he worked at it. We've talked about that. You know, he earned the right. I went to the training camp. I thought he was the best safety on the team, and that included Taylor Rapp. I thought he was the best safety on the team by far. And Cole Bishop was out the practices that I went to, the training camps that I went to, so I didn't get the chance to see him. But out of the guys that were there, I thought Damar Hamlin was the best one. And you see a celebration after he, he runs to the sideline, he's waving on the crowd. It's like this guy has gone through something that nobody can relate to. There is not a single person that played in the National Football League, to my knowledge, that at least in the modern era, that has gone through anything like Damar Hamlin has.
Right.
To get back to where he is. He's a hero. And it sounds cheesy, it sounds corny, but he's an inspirational hero. And I think he's got a great career ahead of him. I think he will be known for the moment, but what he did to get through the moment and what he'll eventually become as a huge part right now of this defense. And this defense is humming. This defense is humming just as much as the offense is. And to know that he had that moment on that stage last night, I think it's a sense of divine intervention. A moment where one moment was really, really rough on Monday Night Football, but things came full circle by the grace of God. That guy is wearing Buffalo Bills red, white, and blue, suited up in a big game and making a big play. It was truly a beautiful moment. One of my favorite moments, along with the Nyheim Hines kick return after what happened. It felt the same way.
Yep, and you're right. A lot of people forget that Cincinnati game was on Monday night. So for him to do it on a Monday Night Football game, when all of the world is watching, it was pretty awesome. Jarrod, what's your take on seeing Damar get that first interception with all that he's been through?
Yeah, with great preparation and opportunity, that's when you have your luck, and that's how you become successful. And this guy's worked hard his whole career, and unfortunately, he took that hit a couple years ago that had to make him take a couple steps back and fight for his life. To be able to come back on the field, be able to get released to play this contact sport again, and him sticking with it, talking to his family, making that decision to play, and then the Bills keeping him. And that's the big thing that the last 2 years, a lot of people are wondering why he's still on the team. Why is Hamlin still here? He's nothing. He's nothing. At the beginning of this year, I kept seeing people saying, what if Hamlin is good? What if Hamlin is good? We saw sparks of it when he was younger, a couple of years ago. What if he is? And he's showing up right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing. I'm going to say it. He's playing all pro football right now. This guy hasn't let the 2 biggest receivers, fastest receivers against Miami behind him yet. He's making tackles. He's putting his helmet on the ball. He's playing lights out safety football, and it's beautiful to see. And his reward was getting that interception last night because of the preparation and hard work that he's done. Ryan, you said hero. And the reason why I think hero hits harder is not because of what he went through to become what he's today, but what he's done after.
Exactly.
A spokesperson for the American Heart Association, the people he's met, the inspiration that he's put out there for people struggling with maybe something, sports injuries or even worse, and rising to the top. He's been an inspiration to the community and to the world. And for him to play the game and get that interception, it was just beautiful. And I don't know how many times I rewound it to watch when he was walking down the sidelines with that ball and everybody's picking up that 3 fingers. It was, emotional because it is. Looking back to where he was compared to where he is now, it's awesome.
Getting a lot of love. Thanks for coming back in, Jared. I can hear you and see you perfectly fine. My first tell, Jared, is when you're still, and I see Ryan going. I was like, but yes, definitely getting a love from the fans. Amazing moment, that's for sure, from Faith Carney. Faith Carney actually just started working at my place of employment, so that's pretty awesome. Hi, Faith.
Oh, that's cool.
Big Bills fan. Paulette Ellen says, "Hey, Paulette, how great a time did you have watching the Bills beat down the Jags?" They're talking. I love how the conversation's going back in there. Bruce McKellar, the Bruce is here. Go Bills. Good to see RT in the house.
Bruce.
Dr. Bruce, guys, keep an eye out the day before the games. Dr. Bruce puts out an injury report on 24/7, buffpandemonium.com. On our blogs, he's hitting us up every week with the latest, greatest updates of all the injuries, for sure. Patrick Hughes, DeMar could have just called it a career. Instead, he came back stronger. Hamlin strong, for sure.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to talk about this Miami game? I do want to give some credit.
Miami. We didn't play Miami.
Jaguar.
Jaguar.
So, they're down in Florida. Any other takes you guys want to take on this?
Well, I think it's time. This is usually saved for Sunday sessions, but you know what? You guys asked for me to come on the K-Gun Report. It's only fair that I bring out the dry erase board, because last night proved that it is Josh Allen MVP season SZN 2024.
It's amazing to see, and you didn't even notice it. Josh Allen did not have to take the team on his back yesterday. It didn't even look like it. Because he was spreading the ball out, giving the ball. The ball was the offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, did such a good job calling a great offense that it didn't look like Josh had to scramble and play hero ball. It looked like it was just all coming to him via the play calls and the offensive line blocking their asses off and James Cook doing James Cook things. It's a different look. It's a different look, and that explains why he hasn't had the turnovers. He has a fumble. The interceptions. That explains a lot of the reason why he's coasting and he's being very successful. I saw an interesting stat here, guys. This is pretty amazing for those that think Josh Allen is still overrated. He's got another quarterback first. The first quarterback in NFL history to have a 75 completion percentage, 4+ TDs, no turnovers, no sacks, and led his team in rushing in one game. Balling, spreading the ball around. I think that overrated talk. Do you guys think these 11 guys that voted for him being overrated should come up?
Every week it should come up. It should come up every week.
They say who? I want to know who the hell said it.
They are. Yeah, they should reveal who they are, and they shouldn't have a job. They should be fired from whatever job they have and never work in football media ever again. That's my opinion, but I digress.
Now,
what are they watching? Man. What sport are they? What player are they watching? Like another? Do they think they're watching another team, another quarterback? I don't get it. I don't see anything in the last 7 years that says that Josh Allen is overrated. I've said to Swank, I've said to Scott, I've said to you, Jared, underrated. That's the word that I would use when talking about Josh Allen. Mr. Flow State. Like last night, Scott, you made a great point that it didn't really look like he had to do a lot, but this guy was in a zen flow state. How many guys caught a ball last night? 10, 11 different? I mean, it was ridiculous, the amount of spreading the football, motion. I thought it was one of his best games that he's ever had statistically, especially in a half. But what a different type of leader he is now than what he was even a year ago.
Yeah, he had 9 receiver catches 9 individuals caught the ball before the half was over. And, James Cook could have had a big one there, but he kind of flipped off his fingertips. But, yeah. I have a question. I have a question for you guys. So if you're a quarterback and someone calls you overrated, there's another group of people on that team who are going to take that personally as well. And those are the guys who are going to keep him clean. And I think those hog mollies up front are also trying to prove a point that my quarterback's not overrated. He's the best in the damn league, and we're going to prove it. We're going to give him all the time in the world. He's going to run where he needs to, and he's going to show you guys why he's not. And I think personally that those offensive linemen took a personal hit too, because that's their quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah, Deion Dawkins, all pro. Connor McGovern moves to center, and he fits like a glove. Osiris Torrance was the best rookie offensive lineman in the league last year by a country mile. And Spencer Brown just gets paid because he just does what he's supposed to do. They have no flaw on their entire offensive line. Usually teams have more of a run blocking offensive line or more of a pass blocking offensive line. They're great at both. I think right now they have the best offensive line in the league. That's just from what I've seen through 3 weeks. James Cook, Ray Davis sprinkled in, and Allen being protected with a hurt hand that was brought up in the comments. I look at how great he's been able to play even while injured because of the offensive line being able to protect him. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, there's a great point. You both with taking it personal and just letting things happen the way they do to prove that you are the MVP, and he's only getting better. Before we go to the next game, I do want to give some shout outs. Obviously, Keon Coleman got his first touchdown catch. But remember, the guy's not fast and you can't create separation. Another first touchdown for Ray Davis as well. So good for him. Good for Ray Davis. Javon Solomon, a guy that we're all hopeful to come in and maybe take some pointers from Von Miller, came in and got his first sack of the year. Hill obviously got his too. So a lot of firsts that happened, and it was awesome to see these young bucks come in and start padding their stats a little bit in this extra time. All right, let's go back to the comments. Buffalo Spartan says, Nick Wright was one of them, probably the guys he's talking about commenting overrated. Was it players? Was it players or was it media?
It's players. I think it was.
I know that there was an executive that said that he was overrated as well, which that is, I mean,
Bean called that guy out. Called him a coward. Yeah, Bean called him out.
I think you referred to him as an idiot.
Yeah,
that's what I saw, which is a good description for sure.
They're idiots everywhere, he said. Yeah.
So my question is, RT, and I know you pay attention to this stuff. Where did Josh Allen rank in the top 100? Do you know?
He was 12th.
Okay, so are those the same people saying he's overrated?
Those are the peers.
Those are the peers, yeah. So, and then, even when they put those lists together, there's all pro players that are featured in that show, and they're saying there's 11 or, 10 guys better than Josh Allen in this league. Like, and that's really hard for me to wrap my head around. There is maybe, and I'm saying maybe, only one player that I would put slightly ahead of Allen, and that's Mahomes. So people could say, oh man, we don't want to say that he's better than Allen. Unfortunately, he's got 3 Super Bowls. So it's really hard for me, not to, but it's like the slimmest of margins, despite him having 3 Super Bowls and Allen having 0. If I had to pick and start a team from scratch, that's a different conversation. I'd take Josh Allen 100 times over 100 times. So it's really shocking that he is still looked at as this afterthought, despite what he has done in this league, which has been break Buffalo Bills records, do things that no quarterback has ever done, break Steve Young's records, break Favre records, Elway records, guys that are in the Hall of Fame, and this guy's only 27, 28 years old.
Yep. That's nuts. You mentioned the hand earlier. Our doctor, Bruce, the resident doctor, it appears that it's just a soft tissue injury of the hand, possibly an injury of the interosseous ligaments that hold the hand bone together. Generally takes several weeks to heal. For anybody that's injured their hand, it's like that deep bruise where it feels like all those little bones in there, you get it hit hard. It is painful because there's a lot of movement in there for sure. Thanks, Dr. Bruce.
I'd just like to throw out a reminder for everybody. And Ryan, like you said, Mahomes does have those rings. That's the
Right.
biggest difference. But
Right.
if you're looking at head-to-head, Josh Allen has a winning record against Mahomes and the
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs.
The rings are the only difference,
Yeah.
right? And if we didn't judge things on rings, which you don't have to, it's just something that some people do. I look at player for player, and it's the same argument that I used to have with my buddies when we'd swim in my buddy Tom's pool back in high school. He had this giant in-ground pool, and we'd swim in it, and we'd always argue about who was better, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. And it's like I'd take Peyton Manning every time, player for player, skill for skill, but obviously results, career accomplishments, that's a completely different conversation.
For sure. And that argument will be made for the rest of time between those two quarterbacks. We always have a 10, 15-year gap of what quarterbacks belong in what era and who was the best during that time. I'm a 90s guy, and I still believe Dan Marino is one of the top quarterbacks ever in the NFL.
100%.
No Super Bowl, so he won't get that recognition.
Scooter, how many yards would Dan Marino throw in the league today?
Yeah.
He'd be top notch, and he wouldn't be one of these guys. He would not be one of these guys that, interesting stat, 4 out of the 6 top quarterbacks this week yard wise lost. Dan Marino, I think, would be one of those guys that would top 400 probably half the games of the season easily, and he was ahead of his time with how strong that arm was, anticipation of routes, and he was smart. I mean, y'all remember that fake spike touchdown against the Jets? I mean, the guy was a great quarterback, and he didn't move. He did not move. He's a great pocket passer. I love Dan Marino.
Which would benefit him more today because you can't hit that damn quarterback like you could back then. Those quarterbacks, Bernie Kosar, Jim Kelly, Testaverde, Marino, those guys were hard. Those are men right there. I would say Josh Allen fits in that mold. He's got that toughness. With today's modern aspects of the game.
He's a true throwback. And I mean, in terms of like all-time great like quarterbacks, I always talk to my dad about like the all-time stuff, and he says like there isn't a guy that I can really compare Josh Allen to, and I'm like, is he a John Elway, Brett Favre, Big Ben, like Dan Marino hybrid? Like Brett, like who can you compare Josh Allen to? And the guys that you can compare him to, they're all Hall of Fame icons of the sport, legends of the sport. So just goes to show you the trajectory that he's begun, and that he's only going to continue over the course of his career.
Yeah. Adam Brasco, Marino is a great player. Hell yeah. Adam Brasco also brings up a good point. We will get to this next game, but there's a lot to talk about. The refs make a difference too. Chiefs should be 1-2. Obviously, we're talking about the Chiefs' treatment on primetime. My personal take, that first interception that kept them alive on that 4th and 16 in week 2, that was a good call. Unfortunately, that's the way it happens. But this last one against the Falcons
was egregious, right?
Yeah.
That lost some people some fantasy weeks for sure.
After I saw what happened against the Atlanta there, many people say, oh, the game's won on 5 or 6 plays throughout the year or throughout the game. There's 5 or 6 plays that make or break the game. And it's like you could play head to head all game long. But when it's the last play, well, we should have won it earlier anyway. If we were good enough, we would have pulled away. That last play would have won the game. What are you talking about? One play. That's the one play. You can't take that away and say, oh, we should have played them harder earlier throughout the game and this and that and the other thing. No, that one play was key.
You're talking about the people that have said, well, we should have had him in other spots of the game.
Yeah, there's 66, 70.
Should have never gotten to that point. Well,
right. Yeah. No, that point was
games
the game.
do. Yeah, that games do. Like there's games that evolve and peak and flow. The 13 seconds game, I hate to admit it, but that game had 47 different lead changes. It felt like that game was ridiculous. It just it never ended in terms of the score changing. And there's one play there in those different score changes that could have changed the outcome of that game drastically. And we've seen it with so many games over the years, so many Super Bowls over the years. I would argue that if Cam Newton didn't fumble against Denver, prior to that moment, Carolina was supposed to beat them. And from that moment on, it was like Denver just took that ball, Von Miller, and that game was over. Cam Newton had no confidence after that. So
Right.
there's a lot of different moments like that in the game that you can't just have these games come down to one missed call that it makes the game look so bad. It makes the refs look as if the evolution of the rules, they're not with the rules, they don't know the rules. I think that there should be challenges on pass interference like there is in the Canadian Football League. They throw the red flag if they feel like it's pass interference, they review it, and if it is, then they do the play over again type thing. I think that's
because
fair.
there are different things. There are different things that include a pass interference, right? It's not like it's a
Right.
judgment call. There's
Sure.
this, that, and the other thing. So if you watch a play, if he's there early, if he's face guarding while the ball's in the air and not turning back, those are all things you can actually see. So if you don't call it and you go back and you see it, then you can call the pass interference. Well, this, and the other thing. So yeah, I agree. Those, especially when maybe after 5 minutes, where there's 5 minutes left in the half, maybe, or the end of the game, all penalties are reviewed. I don't know. Got to change something.
Well, to bring your 2 points together, Jared, like you said, it's the end of the game. It still counts. The thing that happens in the beginning of the game is you can make up from those mistakes. You can
Right.
make up for what the opportunity you missed. When it's the last play of the game, that's final. There's no making up for it. So that's the biggest part of why the discrepancy of we should have done something earlier in the game to solve this. No, if you messed up in the beginning, you can make up for it at the end of the game. There's no making up for it, especially when the time hits 0. You can't go back and say, can we do this play over again? All right, before I get heated because I'm tired of the rest dictating football games, I want to mention that we are part of the Buff Fan Base Network. They're doing great things over there. Bunch of shows throughout the week. The Thomas Take Sports podcast is one of those shows. Ryan, when do you air?
Wednesday night at 8:00. So tomorrow night at 8, I will be on. I'll be recapping this game from this past week, the Bills and Jags blowout. Of course, the Bills blowout of the Jags, and then previewing the Ravens game, because this game is the game of the week, I think, in the National Football League. It's on Sunday Night Football for a reason. 2 quarterbacks, one overrated, one underrated. You take your pick. One should have been the MVP last year. One was the MVP.
Yep.
I digress.
Yeah, there you go. The Thomas Take Sports podcast, part of the Buff Fan Base Network, and we are all sponsored by 26 Shirts. Hit them up. They've got a new shirt out this week. Check them out. Helping Western families here in New York. Win, 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 win. Guys, we're 3-0. Like Ryan said, we are playing a better than the 1-2 record would suggest in the Baltimore Ravens. Not only do we have to play them, they're trying to win more games and pull a bunch of games together, but we're playing at their stadium. So an away game for Buffalo traveling out there, it is definitely, in my mind, the top AFC conference game of the week. We go 4-0, winning this first quarter of the season, or 3-1 with a bunch of other 3-1 teams in the AFC. We'll go right into the key factors. We're going to talk offense right off the bat, seeing how let's just keep rolling and go offense. Jared, I'll start with you. What is the key factor in your mind for the Buffalo Bills offensive success against these Baltimore Ravens?
I think it's going to be time management. You saw how they did this past week, just driving down. This cover 2 type defense that you're seeing a lot nowadays, 2 safeties back, is taking a lot of the deep balls away from a lot of teams. And Buffalo is one of the teams that has learned to adapt. So I think they're dinking and dunking. Allen's not being restricted on where he needs to throw. He's free. He can throw it anywhere. And I think that this offense is going to just continue to roll. I think that if they just keep listening to Brady's game plans have been magnificent. Just listen to that, do your job. And I think that's what's going to be the key is, I'm just going to say, it's Brady's continuation of keeping the playbook open and letting Allen play Allen football free.
There you go. It seems like he's got a pretty good understanding of the defenses he's been playing. We've obviously had longer time, 11 games in between the 2 games that we just played. A little bit of a shorter week now, we can call it, even though it's a week. RT, what are your thoughts? What's the key to success on the offensive side of the ball for Buffalo?
Honestly, I refer to it as tight end university with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid. I want to see more of those 2. I thought they did a really good job last night of getting both of those guys in the game plan. And yeah, 10 guys caught, a pass, 9 receivers, but I think that they have a very underrated motion game in this offense that's actually helping the bigger guys get open underneath because they're worried about Curtis Samuel being in motion, being on a drag or a curl route on the outside, worried about Keon Coleman for all the criticism that guy had in the offseason that he couldn't separate. He's a very strong, physical wide receiver that not many corners understand yet because he's so new to the game. So that's a mismatch in terms of how green and raw he is. There's not much tape on that guy. So get Knox, get Kincaid, get Coleman involved in the offense. And I think I know Josh Allen is playing this game the way that it's meant to be played. The quarterback is meant to spread the ball around. He's meant to move the chains, be methodical. That's what leads announcers to say, oh, he's 5 yards here, 5 yards there. But those 5 yards add up. Before you know it, they're on their own 30, and then they're on the 20 in the red zone, just like that. Just with a Khalil Shakir, with a Dawson Knox here, a Dalton Kincaid there. I guess I could say everybody eats, right? That's the analogy, and I want more of that. But I also want to see the 2 tight ends that I think are the best 2 tight ends on one team get their due, get their share.
There you go. Paulette Brown agrees with you. I've been clicking on the comments. I think everyone is going into that mentality of everybody eats. Me personally, guys, and I'm going to say it this early in the season, Josh Allen definitely is playing MVP football, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I think I'll have a lot of people agreeing with me that if you were to vote offensive MVP so far for the Buffalo Bills is James Cook, mostly because of what he's able to set up. Looks like Joe Brady is going after him quick because of his fresh legs. Let's remember, in Georgia when he played, he did not run the ball out. He did not get a lot of touches. He was a magnificent wide receiver out of the backfield, and so we see Joe Brady not only letting James Cook run, which it seems like that is a skill that he's learning still on the fly and getting better and better every week. But he's got that artillery and that arsenal of catching the ball out of the backfield. Obviously, he had that one drop that we saw, that deep ball. But James Cook, for me, I think the key to this offensive success is make that defense focus on him, kind of like what the Jaguars had to do right off the bat, especially after that first drive. Those first 15 plays that Joe Brady dialed in, and they always tell about, that's all scripted. That's all. Every offense comes into every game with their first 15 plays scripted, exactly how they want to do it. That's setting a tone. It's creating a scenario where they can keep using similar plays and similar scenarios and calling an offense that way, and that seems to be benefiting. So for me, hot start, just like last week, and started off with James Cook, feeding them everywhere. So the linebackers have to start pulling the defensive ends have to start respecting the edge, and then you'll have Josh Allen having forever to throw the ball, and we see what he did.
Scott, you mentioned that they run in familiar plays. There was 2 plays last night that they ran the same exact play twice in a row, but they had 2 options. They passed it to the right. Allen pulled out and passed it to the right and got a big gain. Same exact setup, same exact play, handed it off to Cook, and Cook ran up the field for like a nice 12-yard run. So, yeah, it's a lot of moving parts, and Allen's got to make the read, and he's doing it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Brady.
Yeah. Let's see, Corey Blaine, we need to acknowledge this offensive line monsters this year. RT mentioned that right in the beginning of the show. Top offensive line for sure so far, with the holes they're creating for the running game and with the blocking and the time they're giving Josh Allen for sure. Nate Nacho, what up, Reed boys? Adding that swanky stand in. What a game. Nate Nacho, if you watch Sunday Sessions, you would understand that it's Ryan Thomas, co-host of Sunday Sessions, with Swank and myself. What a game. Coaching staff getting their flowers. But shout out to Big Baller Bean for assembling this roster. I heard 9 of 11 on offense were drafted and 8 of 11 on defense were drafted. So go Bills. Hell yeah. And RT will probably, you could tell us the UB players or the Buffalo players that are on there, they're undrafted free agents that are making a name for themselves.
Yeah, Ingram, obviously Joe Andreessen, who was active. He was on the sideline, but he was active with some of the injuries that Buffalo's had. He's a Lancaster legend, pun intended. He was a really good wrestler in high school. I actually got the chance to coach him. I was telling you about that.
Yep.
Scott at the Rager, really humble kid, hardworking kid, and obviously Buffalo Joe. It must be just something in the water in this area that, if you're born and raised here, you know what hard work means, and you know what it means to be humble. So I'm really happy for him as well. Cam Lewis, who's been a part of this team for quite a few years now. I think it's his third or fourth season. And he's been used as a nickel corner to back up Teron Johnson. He's been used as a backup safety when Poyer and Hyde were hurt. And he's a really good player. He makes really nice tackles. And he's somebody that I'm really excited to see him grow and continue to play.
Well, yeah. Nate Nacho says apologies to Mr. Ryan Thomas.
You're good. You're good. You'll know on Sunday sessions. Tune in Sunday. You'll know what I bring to the table, as Scott and Swank do and Jarrod does.
Patrick Hughes does have one thing to say. The Swanky stand is going to need to up his beard game to be Swanky.
100%. I mean, to up it, I don't know if I could up it that much. I don't know if Tosh would really look at me the same way. I got to keep up appearances. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it as this. This is freshly barber trimmed. So,
there you go.
We'll see. If it continues to grow from here, how it looks. We'll go with that.
Love it, love it, love it. So the general consensus here, guys, is that Buffalo keep the foot on the gas on offense, spread the ball around like you have, and just Joe Brady, keep doing what you're doing. So far, it's been successful. Obviously, we're going to talk about the defense. This offense basically is what kept this team alive as far as the Ravens go. Jarrod, I started with you last time. RT, I'll start with you this time. Same question, opposite the side of the field. What is the key to success to stopping Lamar? Henry, who seems to be coming into his own. We knew he would eventually. And this high-powered Zay Flowers, high-powered. I mean, what is the key to success for these guys?
Well, honestly, you kind of touched on like how they're ranked. Lamar's the weapon one, but I think the Ravens made the biggest offseason acquisition free agent wise of any team when they went out and signed Derrick Henry. There's a stat out there that when Lamar's in the backfield in shotgun, they give one look. But when Derrick Henry was in the backfield for the Titans, they stacked the box. No two players are as, kind of spied in the case of Lamar or as stacked in the box as Derrick Henry is, and rightfully so, because he's been a juggernaut of a running back since day one, dating back to even his high school days. Go check out Derrick Henry's high school stats. You will not understand how it was even legal that a guy that young could get the ball that much in high school and be that good. Or
be that big. I mean, it's the stats are one thing, that size is another.
That's true. That's true.
He's getting the ball 30 or 40 times a game.
He was eating his mom and dad's groceries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for sure, and maybe his brother and sisters too. But yeah, he is the guy that I'm really looking at in this game for Buffalo, to be honest, more than Lamar, because I do think Derrick Henry is coming into his own, and he's a guy that Buffalo has had some problems with in terms of when he was at Tennessee. You remember the Josh Norman stiff arm? He got thrown like what looked like 15 yards backwards, but that's the guy that I'm really keying in on. And I think Buffalo has always had, if their defense has had any kind of chink in their armor, it's that they are a little bit light up front in comparison to some other teams in front seven wise. So where they're athletic, they might be a little light, but I think they are deeper now in their front seven than what they have been in previous years, which says a lot. They could lose a guy like Matt Milano. Not that we would ever want to see Matt Milano out of the lineup, but Dorian Williams played really well last night. And Ed Oliver is a all-pro caliber defensive tackle that I think is only getting better. We know about Groot, and we know about this guy that will have a gold jacket one day, Von Miller, that I think, I never thought I'd say this. You guys know I was really hard on Von Miller last year. I think Von's back. I think the comeback is about to begin, and that could make for some really exciting moments with Von and Lamar and this game on Sunday night.
Well, the most exciting thing for me about that Von sack is it wasn't like a surprise, oh, there he is kind of sack. It was a moment in the game where we were all like, I think all 72,000 fans in the Bill Stadium was like, this is Von Miller time. And he did exactly what we want him to do and why we brought him here. But man, 3 for 3 weeks, 3 sacks. Jared, what's the key?
If you have any questions about Von Miller's knee, that sack that he had, he was leaning forward and got pushed forward. That's going to put a lot of pressure on that knee as he's slamming his legs on the ground. So the fact that he was able to stand up and keep running and make that sack, jump, and then run down the field, his knee's 100%. We're good. No, I think the key to the defense, Scott, like you were going to say, I think the key to defense success is going to be spy football and Tyler Rapp back there, making sure nothing gets – he's coming up and hitting people. And he's going to have to do it with Henry and Lamar. And I think if for some reason I was thinking today that they're going to have 2 spies. They're going to have a linebacker and they're going to have a defensive lineman spying him and just following wherever he's going. But you have to play the same football that you did against Miami. You have to keep everything in front of you and make sure you're making the tackles and hit your gaps and have responsible football. And the key to the game is going to be Babick and his game plan, but everyone's sticking to what the plan is and doing their responsibilities. That's the key to success.
Jared, you say Babick too. I've been saying that a lot. Apparently, it's Babbage.
Bobby Babbage.
Right. Yep, I've been saying it all along. Yep. Someone's like, it's Babbage. I'm not crazy.
He's been dialing up.
Right, his dad coached for the Bills for a little bit, right?
Yep.
Linebacker coach. Yep.
He was a positional coach as well. Yep. I agree with both what you guys are saying. It'd be interesting to see what Babbage does bring to the table. We've obviously have been known as the team that has figured out the Lamar Jackson way of football. We've also had pretty okay success with Henry. I mean, he's had a long run or 2 against us, but other than that, I think he averages like only 2.6 yards a carry if you take away those huge runs. Do we bring a 4-3 defense? Do we get that box nice and big and strong? I don't know. Are we going to spy like Jarrod says? I don't know. I think one of the big things we need to do because of the amount of screens we've seen, Zay Flowers is very active in the game. And I think one of the things you got to do is press. And I think we have the corners to press. Rasul Douglas is a good size thick corner, and Benford has been manhandling people as far as putting his hands on and not letting these guys get too far in front of them. So is that something? I don't think we're going to see something we've seen in the first couple weeks because of the run game that these guys are bringing. So I'd expect to see something just a little different in this defense. They run the ball 55% of the time, and I don't think that includes our good friend Lamar scrambling. Yeah, so you still got to respect all that stuff. It could be one of those barn burner games, or it could be a big blowout.
You mean it doesn't include Lamar's obvious choice to run when there's someone wide open? Like that's what you were saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right.
I don't know.
I think what I'm getting at with those 2 spies, with the 2 spy game, you're going to force Lamar to throw the ball, and I don't think that's his strong suit. So I think if you let Lamar sit back there and you have a D lineman and a linebacker spying on him, he's going to be forced to make mistakes. And I think that's
the problem now, Jared, is if you have a defensive line spying on him, that means his first 2 steps are stepping back and looking for and that's going to give that offensive line leverage to push him backwards. Is a spy on a defensive line gonna give the advantage?
You can get a yard back. You can get a yard back, and you stay right in the middle, and you don't allow anything to move you. You can spy him still.
Do we have somebody big enough that can do that? Is that Daquan Jones's job?
Who do you choose to do that? That's the tough decision, because you don't want to choose a guy like you don't want to choose a guy like Greg Rousseau to do that. And I did see them do that with Greg Rousseau against Kyler Murray, and I didn't like it. That was one thing that I really didn't like in that game, because Greg Rousseau is their most premier pass rusher that they have. And I will say that over Von Miller. He's in his prime. He's getting better. He's a mismatch. But honestly, I don't think it really takes a lot to look at the tape and say, this is where Lamar is uncomfortable. This is where Lamar is uncomfortable. He uses his ability to run to pass rather than using his ability to pass to run. Mm-hmm. Unlike, like Josh Allen, he uses his ability to pass to run. Lamar does the opposite. So that's where, Baltimore is always going to try to run, but Baltimore is definitely going to try to run to keep Josh Allen off the field, wear the clock down, time of possession. But that's only going to last so long when you have a defense that covers as well as Buffalo's does. Yeah. And they cover well against the elite players, which the Ravens really, outside of Zay Flowers, I can't name the last elite receiver they've had. So And I wouldn't even say Zay Flowers is elite. He's good, but I wouldn't say he's elite either. Right. So it's an interesting matchup.
It all depends on what kind of situation they get put in. I mean, if the Bills are putting up 37.5 points a game, they're top of the NFL right now, number one scoring team in the league. Do we get that hot hand, go score quick, and now force Lamar and take away the run game? Jared, one of those things is our linebackers aren't that big, RT and Jared. So if you go light with the interior defensive line, there's potential that you can get thrown around. So you have to have a hog molly in there somewhere. You have to have one of our 300-plus pound guys that aren't going to move. And then you got to keep the Dwayne Carters and Eddie O's out there that can move. So I would hate to see Eddie have to drop back and cover and spy. It'll be an interesting. And I think it depending on how our offense is handling things will probably determine how this defense is going to handle Lamar and crew.
Or just to throw it out there, another option you could do is not do a spy and blitz and force him to go a certain direction.
Right.
Trap him in a rollout. Yeah. We'll see. Can't wait.
Collapse the pocket and make him step up. That's what I would say. Literally collapse the pocket, dare him to, I would even say if they want to dare him to run, I would dare him to, because that's really the only yards that I think that they're going to be able to get is via the run game. I don't predict Lamar throwing for 300 yards against this Buffalo Bills defense, maybe not even 200.
Right.
So it's just due to the coverage that 4-2-5 that's lost guys like Teron Johnson. Hopefully he can come back soon. But Sean McDermott always seems to be able to find these guys in the secondary. And that was why a guy by the name of Teron Johnson picked sixth Lamar Jackson in that playoff game. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't see much growth in Lamar Jackson's game. I see what he is, and what he is good, sometimes great. But I don't see much evolution. I'm not seeing it right now.
Right. So let's transition, guys. We just talked about factors of the game. Give us your X factors. Jared, will bounce back down to you. It's different than keys of the game. Obviously, keys could be schemes and all that stuff, but what the X factor can kind of be the same thing. But pick one, offensive or defense. We'll just pick one. What is the X factor? What is the key determining factor of this game for the Buffalo Bills' success to win?
I'm going to hit them both. Mark Maddox always says coaching puts these players in the position to win. And I think Babich and Brady and McDermott are going to continue to put these guys where they need to be to win this game. They just need to listen to them and be responsible and play responsible football and take their responsibility serious and do it. And I think this is going to be success. We've seen it the first 3 weeks. And I think it's going to continue. Coaching is going to keep this team going as long as the players just keep listening and trusting the process.
Nice.
Like
RT, what's your X, man?
My X factor.
Don't say SpaghettiOs.
It might be SpaghettiOs for us, but I don't think the guys on the Bills field are eating SpaghettiOs. Maybe they are. I'd love to think and believe that we live in a world where they do, but I don't know if they do. But anyway, I think Khalil Shakir is making it known that he was the only receiver on the team last year, from last year's roster to this year's roster. I get the feeling that this guy's got a big chip on his shoulder. He's heard all the talk about even Keon, his teammate, all the talk about the Bills not having the wide receivers. He was one of those guys there last year that had the highest catch percentage of any overly targeted receiver, I guess you could say, and he's been phenomenal. The yards after catch is huge. I want to see what I saw last night, more of that, more yards after catch for Khalil Shakir. Short down and distance, he turns it into a big play. Long down and distance, he turns it into a big play. He's just a big play, yards after catch player that I think he can be an X factor in this one. With the Ravens' willingness to chew up the clock, we got to be West Coast, so to speak, mixing the ball around. Everybody eats, but I think Khalil Shakir, when it's all said and done, will have the most targets and the most catches and the most yards in this game on Sunday night.
Nice.
We got tight ends as the X factors. We have Douglas as the X factor for sure. SpaghettiOs again as the X factor. Jared, you said something about the interior line, maybe spying someone. My X factor this week is going to be the edge. It's going to be Russo and Epinesa got a sack. I'm so happy to see that happened this week. But it is. It's like RT said, bring the pressure up front and make him step up because he can't go around. And this is going to be all based on the edge. The edge is also responsible for not allowing that running back to cross your face for these screens or getting your hands up when you see a wide receiver screen or a tight end screen. Edge play is going to be huge. We have the guys for it, the lengthy, tall Russos, Epinesas. Solomon's not that tall, but he's got long-ass arms if you see him. So that's going to be the X factor for me, defensive end play. And I think the rest will be history if they maintain their responsibility. Don't let things get to the outside of them and get your damn hands up. Get them up. Yeah. Let's fire, guys. Oh, I got to look at this. Swank actually put this in here, guys, which is nice because we can finally use some of this. But look at this, man.
Here we go, folks. We're in overtime.
Overtime, where we aren't responsible about the hour that we're trying to keep, and we don't get in trouble for it, so we're going to keep doing it. Brought to you by SpaghettiOs. So what we like to do this time of show, guys, is score predictions. So throw out your score predictions out there. Jarrod, did Eli give us his score prediction for this week?
Nope, not today.
All right, well, look on social media because I'm sure Eli will throw his score prediction out there, and we'll get that out for you guys to see. That little bugger probably get it right. Yeah, he's pretty accurate with his score predictions. Let's go. Obviously, we'll start there. We'll hit up the AFC rivalries, and then we'll hit up a couple of these football games. We'll do final thoughts and wrap it up. Score predictions. RT, what you got?
Score prediction, I'd like to say this will be a close, competitive game, but, man, Buffalo is on fire. They're humming. But I do think that this is the toughest opponent that they've faced to date. So with that, I do believe it'll be a little bit closer than what we've seen these last 2 weeks. I do think that Buffalo will put up another 35-plus point effort. I'm going to go 37-28. And that's good enough for me. It's kind of a 1-possession, 2-possession game almost pretty much, but I'm going to go with that. I think it's going to be closer, but I do see Josh Allen showing that he should have won the MVP last year. This is not a popularity contest. It's most valuable player. Who is the most valuable player to their team? Josh Allen's been the most valuable player, I think, in the league since he became the Buffalo Bills franchise quarterback. So I'm thinking that Josh Allen really shines bright, maybe less of a restraint this week on his left hand that allows him to hand the ball off a little bit more properly, allows him to be a little bit more comfortable. But the fact that this guy's playing as well as he is with the injury that he has just goes to show you just how great he is. And I think he's going to put up a huge day, and the Bills are going to be 4-0 heading into week 5.
Nice. What's up, Jerry?
Nope, I'm going to say the same exact thing as I said last week. I think the offense is still rolling and the defense is still rolling. If these guys can just listen to Babbage and Brady, it's going to just continue to roll. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with 35 to 17. 35-17 Buffalo Bills.
I'll say that's been the second time in 3 weeks you pick an odd score.
That's why I took it out of there.
36 would have been a weird one. Looks like the trend of 30-plus points. Bills have been doing it all year. So far, they're 3-0 with the 30 scoring 30-plus. We got 35-21 Patrick Hughes. Zarla Zwemmer says 31-29. We have a 34-17 Bruce McKellar. Josh Cook, 35-14. There he is. There's brother Josh. Close one for Corey Bland, 38-32. Adam, 31-24. Shane Becker, 28-23. 28-37 Bills. That threw me off a little bit.
That's
Shane.
The same score as me, Shane. I like your thinking.
There you go. Dave Augie says 27-10. The Nacho says 30-20. My score prediction is 35-24. That offense stays hot. Then the defense does a good job containing. You're not going to shut them out. This offense could be very potent as far as the Ravens goes. So you're not going to shut them out. It's going to be a tough game. Plus you're playing there on prime time. So that's going to be a good game. Ellen Lartz, 38-21, and Buffalo Spartans, 38-16. Would you believe we all had the Bills winning?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to hit up some of these division games. Not a very impressive week, I tell you. I think the total wins between the three games are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 total wins out of these 6 teams that are playing. So let's hear it, guys. Denver versus Jets. RT, well, for all these 3, we'll start RT. Go, Jarrod. So RT, you first. Jets versus the Broncos.
Jets versus I go Jets. Their defense is lethal. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's having some fun, which is really hard for him to do, it seems. So I'm gonna go with the Jets.
There you go. I got Jets too, Jarrod. What do you got?
I got the Jets as well. I don't want to say it, but you have to. I mean, things seem to be clicking right now. They have a lot of weapons on that offense, and their defense is always good. So the Jets are going to pull this one off.
The way Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball, anybody could be on that offense, and they're going to do good. I mean, his accuracy right now is uncanny, and that defense is just catching fire. It's going to be a tough game here in a couple weeks when we play them. 1-2 Patriots versus the surprisingly 1-2 Niners. Who you got, RT?
I'm gonna go Niners here, getting it right. New England is a disaster. Ramondre Stevenson had one of the worst running back games that I've ever seen, and I was on the brunt of it. Luckily, I won in my dynasty league while starting him somehow, thanks to the Buffalo goat Josh Allen, and Khalil Shakir.
Love it.
But I definitely think that New England is just they're in rebuild mode, and the 49ers, they're due to get a solid win. It's overdue, actually. 1-2 for the reigning NFC champs. That's crazy. They'll get it done.
Who you got, Jarrod?
Yep, I have 49ers winning that one too.
I'll make it quick. Niners. 0-3 Titans versus the 1-2 Dolphins, and that is, I believe, is that a primetime game? No, I don't know. I don't believe so.
I don't think so. I hope not.
They better not be. They need to start flexing those games out of there.
They got to flex that out if it's Miami.
Who you got, RT?
Titans, for that matter. I'm going to go Tennessee. I think Miami's season is over. I think the Titans are very bad, but Miami has no offense without a quarterback.
Yep.
It's just Devin Achane, and Tyreek is not getting the ball. Waddle's not getting the ball. They got to figure something out at the quarterback position. Whether they bring somebody in from the outside, I don't know, but I'm going to go Tennessee.
I'm right there with you, Tennessee.
Yep. There you go. You know what they say. A lot of Tennessee Titan fans out here. Buffalo Spartans also going Tennessee. Dolphins are on a third-string quarterback. Corey Blaine picked the Niners earlier. Zweimer says Titans. They got a couple toilet bowl games, and the surprising 0-3 Bengals. Ooh, man. Against a team that we didn't think we were going to win a game all year, Panthers. Bengals versus Panthers. Is this where the Bengals get their first win of the season? Maybe start turning something around a little bit?
Yeah, I would say so. Maybe Andy Dalton has a revenge game against his old team a little bit.
Didn't even think about that. There you
go. But I think Cincinnati will get it done. That was also a great game last night, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jaden Daniels show. That kid is pretty good. He's a pretty good quarterback. So, but I think Cincinnati's going to get it done.
Pretty sure you ranked him as the top quarterback, and I think I saw.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yep.
Jarrod, who you got?
Cincinnati winning this one.
Yeah, I think the fans out there, the Mafia, is going along with you. Nate Nacho does say it's the Red Rifle revenge game. Erg.
All right, I gotta go to the bathroom. We'll be right back.
I was gonna say you're getting antsy. I see you. You do this way I do when I gotta go. All right. I always pick the Browns game. Swank always picks the Browns game only because we always pick the other team. 1-2 Browns versus the 1-2 Raiders. Since Jared's not here, we could talk a little more, RT. I'm going to go ahead and say Raiders win this game. But what do you think about? Go ahead and give your your winning prediction. But what's your thoughts about coaches' comments about players making a business decision, and at some point the coaches are going to have to make a business decision based on those players?
Honestly, I agree with it. You know, if the player isn't performing and early in the season, everybody wants to win. Everyone's trying to win. You got to win as many games as possible every week. Go 1-0 every week. But if you get off to a bad start in an NFL season, it's really hard to climb out of that. So the Raiders are looking at it saying, well, Minshew hasn't really done what we had thought he would do. We have another option. We're willing to make that switch if things don't get better, and they want to win. And to me, it's kind of the whole, if you're not trying to win, what's the point? What's the point of this? So I do understand it. I don't know if it'll lead to the results that the Raiders want if they do make the switch from Minshew to Aiden O'Connell, but nonetheless, I think that Minshew will hear those words, and I think he's going to play really well this week against a surprisingly really good defense in Cleveland. They've been good the last few years with Jim Schwartz running the show there for the Browns D, but I think the Raiders will get it done. I'm gonna go Raiders.
Raiders Browns, Jared, you're up. Perfect timing. Look at that.
Raiders win it.
All right, well said.
There you go. The fan base. Bills Mafia, Raiders, Buffalo Spartan, Raiders, Bruce McKellar, Raiders, Adam Barasco, Raiders, and Nate Nacho I thought Jared already from his office. Peed from his office. I don't know. Do you pee from potted?
Potted. I think, yeah, potted.
Pottied.
Pottied. Yes, pottied. Yeah.
There you go. All right, guys. Great show. The comments were like crazy, guys. We had 750 right now watching live. You guys are kicking ass every week. But we usually end the show with the final thoughts. RT, I'll start with you. Share to the fan base, the Bills Mafia, where they can find you, when to listen to you, and then love having you on the show as always, my friend.
Yeah. Always a pleasure, guys. Really great to see you, Jared. Really great to see you, Scott, as always. You guys can check out my show, the Thomas Take Sports Podcast. It'll be live tomorrow night at 8. And you guys can follow me on X at Ryan Thomas Take. You can subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm putting out a lot of shorts, YouTube shorts, as well as all things Bills on my Facebook page, my Twitter, I mentioned, my Instagram, a lot of stuff on Instagram. So at Ryan Thomas Take for all my social media stuff. All right. Check it out. We get a fun season, 3-0. Let's be 4-0.
There you go. What's up, Jared? Final thought, brother.
I feel better. Yeah. 3-0. This is the first quarter of the season. Let's make it 4-0, like Ryan said. I've always said it that this first couple of games is like you're feeling your way into the season, and to get 3 wins right off the bat is very important, especially against an AFC East team and an AFC team in general, because we usually fall to those ones that usually haunt us later in the season, where we're trying to figure out who needs to win and what needs to happen. But getting a win on this Jacksonville Jaguars team is huge. Look for Sunday sessions, guys. It's always, I don't partake, but I love watching these guys chat. It's 30 minutes of nonstop go, actives, inactives, and any last minute news. And Scott, Swank, and Ryan are on top of it. 30 minutes, they fit it all in, guys. So Sunday, I'm imagining it's going to be about 6:30, 7 o'clock for that show. Next week, Mark Maddox will be joining us. He'll be talking about this Ravens game. So I'm looking forward to that. Until then, enjoy the week. A couple more days till football is back. Go Bills.
There you go. Now you took my final thought away. I like to just preach, guys, one game at a time. They're a lot more fun to watch that way. I was able to kick back, relax, had the man cave open, 2 TVs, 2 Monday Night Football games, which is awesome. I had a fire going and all that. My kids were able to watch, and you take it in. You watch every game. It was a fun half to watch. But these games are going to get tougher. As Jared always says, the first 4 weeks a lot of times is a preseason for a lot of these players because they haven't played a lot in the preseason. Mm-hmm. So the games are going to be a lot more interesting. We're going to see different things coming from teams because they're starting to figure out how they play. But nonetheless, one game at a time. Let's bring it 4-0 to this first quarter of the season. Hit up Sunday sessions an hour and a half before game time. K-Gun Report every Tuesday, 8 o'clock. Swank will be back next week with Mark Maddox as well. But until then, guys, we love you. Bills Mafia, you kicked ass again. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. 4-0. Let's do it.
As Swank would say, go.
to their knees. Choose a side, let the right, it's all the same. Passionate folks and half-truths